Hey y'all, how many seeds in a pumpkin? Written by Margaret McNamara. Illustrated by G. Brian Karras. Read by Mrs. Hudgens. Charlie liked school. He liked his teacher, Mr. Tiffin. He liked his best friend, Alex. But he did not like lining up to go into school. Mr. Tiffin's class lined up by size, tallest to smallest, or smallest to tallest. Charlie was the smallest in the class every time. One chilly fall morning, Charlie was surprised to see three bright orange pumpkins on Mr. Tiffin's desk. One pumpkin was big, one was medium, and one was small. How many seeds in a pumpkin? Mr. Tiffin asked the class. Does anybody know? Nobody knew, but everyone had ideas. The biggest one has the most, said Robert. I bet it has 1,000,000 seeds. Robert was the tallest boy in the class. The medium one has 500, Eleanor said. Eleanor always sounded as if she knew exactly what she was talking about. The tiny one has 22, said Anna. Anna liked any numbers better than odd numbers. Mr. Tiffin wrote down all the guesses on the blackboard. Charlie was very quiet. What are you thinking, Charlie? Asked Mr. Tiffin. I'm thinking that all the best guesses are taken, Charlie said. Why don't we open these pumpkins up and see? Said Mr. Tiffin. The next day, the kids in Mr. Tiffin's class brought in spoons for scooping and bowls for holding and plastic bags for throwing out. They covered the floor with newspapers. They put on their smocks. It's a messy business counting pumpkin seeds, said Mr. Tiffin, but the class was ready. Mr. Tiffin cut a circle around each pumpkin stem. Kimmy, Alex, and Jake pulled off the caps. The children peered inside. This big one definitely has the most, said Robert. We'll see, said Mr. Tiffin. The pumpkin pulp was slimy and stringy, and the seeds were hard to get out. When the children were finished, there were 3 empty pumpkins. 3 full bowls, and 20 messy hands. Tomorrow we will find out the answer to our question, said Mr. Tiffin. Tonight, your homework is to think about how we should count all the seeds. That afternoon, Mr. Tiffin dried the seeds. The next day, he put them into 3 paper bags marked big, medium, and small. Did you do your thinking homework? He asked the class. Yes, Alex said. I think we should just guess. I think we should count very, very carefully, said Tara. I think we should count by 5, 2s, 5s, and 10s, said Molly. The class agreed that Molly had a good idea. Robert, Kimmy, and Jake all wanted to count the seeds in the big pumpkin by 2s. Anna asked if she could join them. We can be the 2s club, she said. They practiced counting. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, they said together. Jeremy, Tara, Eleanor, Molly, and Alex liked counting by 5s. Will count the seeds in the medium pumpkin, said Molly. We can be the 5s club. 5, 10, 15, 20, they cheered. I'll take the smallest pumpkin, said Charlie. I guess I'll be the 10s club. Good idea, said Mr. Tiffin. 10, 20, 30, Charlie began. Soon there were many groups of seeds in front of each pumpkin. the Twos Club. See, said Robert, the Twos Club has the most. They had 170 pairs of seeds. We have lots too, said Eleanor, the Fives Club. They had 63 groups of 5 seeds, 1 seed left over. The Tens Club, Charlie, had exactly 35 groups of 10 seeds. Robert looked at the seeds in front of Charlie. You don't have a whole lot, he said. Let's get counting, said Mr. Tiffin. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, began Robert, Kimmy, Jake, and Anna. It took a long time to count 170 pairs of seeds. My brain hurts, says Anna. The biggest pumpkin had 340 seeds, almost 1,000,000, said Jake. The fives were a little easier. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, chanted Jeremy, Tara, Eleanor, and Molly. There were 316 seeds in the medium pumpkin. Too bad for you, said Robert. It's not a contest, said Molly. The tens were the fastest of all. Since there were only 35 groups, 10, 20, 30, 40, Charlie counted to himself. This can't be right, he said. What can't be right, said Mr. Tiffin. There are 350 seeds in my little pumpkin, said Charlie. That means it has the most of all. Sure it does, said Mr. Tiffin. Congratulations, Charlie, said Alex. The Tens Club wins. It's not a contest, said Robert. Mr. Tiffin told the class to gather around. You can never tell just how many seeds are in a pumpkin until you open it up, he said, but there may be some clues. Take a good look at these. The class did. Charlie's is darker orange, said Anna, and it has more lines on the outside, said Robert. Yep, said Mr. Tiffin. For each line on the outside, there is a row of seeds on the inside. That's good to know, said Eleanor. And the longer the pumpkin grows, the more lines it gets, he added. Its skin gets darker too. So even though my pumpkin was the smallest, it was on the vine the longest, said Charlie. Exactly, agreed Mr. Tiffin. When it was time to go home, the class lined up by the door. Smallest to tallest this time, said Mr. Tiffin. Robert was at the back. Eleanor was in the middle. Charlie was at the front. Small things can have a lot going on inside them, Charlie said to Mr. Tiffin. And then they left the classroom, with Charlie leading the way. Pause to read these pumpkin facts. Pause to read this note from Mr. Tiffin. The end. Visit your local bookstore or library to find more books written by Margaret McNamara.